So I'm coming on camera again, and tomorrow I'll give you more information about what happened today. So they're upstairs and they're running around. So they said they're upset because today was they have like some sort of prostitution ring or something, and today was like their sex party night or something. So they said I was not attractive enough to attract any men during my lifetime, and that all the men who ever liked me were gay or they were set up. So they said like everything in my life was always a setup. But it's amazing how everything in my life was a setup, but I still was able to do more with my life than they've ever done with all of their lives together. And that's my point. So they're like, people will dislike you if you talk about any of your successes. Well, then they admit, oh, they just knocked. Then they admit I do have successes. So part of what happened today, in the previous video I uploaded, I had proof, including my mother, that none of their lies actually were truthful. They were all lies. So they're upset because they're like, that makes me look bad because I could have told them before they invested millions of dollars in blackmailing me on their lies. I could have told them that they were lies. Well, I've told them that all along. I've told in 1,000+ videos, I've said it. So they said, well, this isn't really working out, the way they thought it would. So I'm going to, they wanted me to show you like my letter and different things like that, but I don't need to show you guys that. I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to pause this and show you something else. Okay, so let me show you this. This is a famous picture. This is a picture by Cott. It's a oil on canvas by Cott. It's hanging in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I think it's from like the 1800s. And in the picture, let's see if I can get a better angle of it. You see there, it's called The Storm. And I got like a poster of it and I have this card of it. And the man is looking at the female and he's kind of holding her and holding something over her. And they're running from the storm. You see that? I hope you guys see that. Now, let me tell you something I feel, in going back to this. It's one of my favorite pieces of art. I love all art, especially when I find Black people depicted in art. But I really love this piece because it just shows when you have somebody in your life who kind of can weather the storm with you. How even though you're not one of the people in this, you can kind of feel something. So I'm looking at this and I feel something. It kind of makes me feel something because I see them weathering the storm together. And they get really upset when I talk about how some people can pass the test and some people can't. And this is what I mean. When I tell you all these stories, there are people who know me and said, no, that didn't happen. And those are the people I love because they can weather the storm with me. Then there are other people who were like, really? They can't pass my tests. They can't weather the storm. So they're saying, well, nobody ever cared about me. Now, I must have been around some of the best, amazing, undercover people in the world who could pretend to like me, and those who could, pass a lot of tests that they were able to weather storms with me. And that's the strange part. You can tell the difference between the people like this in your life who can weather storms with you and protect you from whatever, and these types of people who will lie on you, spend millions of dollars to clone you because they don't want to deal with the humanity in you. Do you understand what I mean by that? When people are willing to clone you to form AI because they don't want to deal with your humanity, there's a problem. There's a major problem with those folks. So they said, they thought this is like a psychological operation. They thought the psychological operation would get to me, but I'm just too old. I'm 49. I'll be 50 in December. Still a long way off. It feels like I should be 50 tomorrow, but it's still a long way off. But they don't understand that once you get to a certain age, you can take a look, even from the outside of someone else's storms, and say, yeah, that's the real thing, and point out the frauds. They're the frauds. And they'll always be just that, frauds. And it took this long for me to get to this point where I could tell you some more of their lies. I'll keep telling, as their lies come, you notice like there's a lie a day. I should call it that, and a lie a day. I would have days and days and days of lies. But as I'm going through their lie a day, it's helping me. I told my mom from 2016 to now, it's been hard. And they keep gloating. That's what they like to do. They like to gloat. That they got me on camera looking crazy, acting crazy, and that they said that I've never been this way. It took them all these years. So when did I come on camera with this? 2019, just quickly, but definitely starting, I think, 2021 or 2022. The fact that it took me all these years to come on camera and seem nuts is amazing, because I'm in New York City. And I would love it if I could find someone else who had me on camera looking nuts prior to this. But that's my point. When they gloat and they, we got her, it's fine. When I gloat and say, I've accomplished a lot, oh, that's horrible. That's the biggest psychological operation, isn't it? That I'm not allowed to hold my head up high and be able to state my accomplishments with comfort. They would want me to say, oh, as though me stating my accomplishments is a bad thing. Yet when they gloat, which is over the top, bragging, making themselves look bad, making everyone feel uncomfortable, it's fine. And that's part of how I'm looking at this situation, that I had to get comfortable coming on camera and being me and letting millions of people see. Some people will like it. Some people will hate it. Some people won't give a shit. And that's the difference between what they're doing and what I'm doing. And I had to get to a point in my life at close to 50 where I could let this happen. And not just weather the storm of it happening, understanding that there will be storms, but there are going to be people who can help me get through those storms. And that was what I learned from this. It's not gloating. It's being confident, having the self-confidence to come on camera and be me. And go through a storm publicly. And that's what they didn't want me to be able to do. They wanted me to privately suffer, because that's how blackmail is. Blackmail is that I wouldn't want these things to get out. And that is the difference. So the other point I wanted to make before I end this video is they keep talking like, we know, your bowel movements. We know if you're going to urinate. I would think that would be embarrassing. Like, could you imagine, like, being the person who has to remotely, meaning not in my apartment, sit upstairs or down the hall and talk about me pooping? Would you even want that job? Like, ugh. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It's who they are. That's what I'm going to say as the title of this video. This is who they are. Thank you for watching.